He came to crash for the weekend, my brother's best friend, cocky and irresistible. One night, we locked eyes and everything changed. When he kissed me behind the door, I forgot all the reasons why we shouldn't. Before I continue with the rest of the story, kindly do me a little favor. Please hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to comment your favorite part of the story below. I love reading your thoughts and reactions. They truly keep me going. Now allow me to take a moment to appreciate you. Yes, you. Thank you for making us a 600-strong community. Each one of you is a pillar of strength, color, and courage. This journey wouldn't be possible without your love, your voice, and your presence. You are making the queer community proud, and I see every one of you. Your support is not just a number. It's a movement. It's light in the dark. It's love, loud and unashamed. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for standing with me. Thank you for being you. Now back to the story. If I had known that he was coming, I might have worn something less threadbare. But my brother forgot to mention that Noah, his best friend from college and the guy I used to low-key obsess over when I was 17, was crashing at our house for the weekend. I told you, right? Ryan said casually as he tossed his keys on the kitchen counter. Noah's in town for the wedding. He'll be staying here. He hadn't told me. Not that it mattered now. Because when the front door opened and Noah stepped inside, every drop of blood in my body forgot how to behave. He looked taller than I remembered. Still lean, still broad-shouldered, but everything about him was more grown. A subtle scruff along his jaw. His sleeves rolled to his forearms. The quiet kind of confidence that didn't ask for attention. It commanded it. "Dylan," he said, smiling like it hadn't been 5 years since we last spoke. "Holy moly, man. You look different." Puberty, I muttered, finally showed up. His eyes dragged over me in a way that felt almost criminal, but he laughed and pulled me into a hug, his hand low on my back, fingers just brushing the hem of my shirt. "Guess I'm not babysitting this weekend," he joked, stepping back. But something lingered in the way he looked at me, like he wasn't just seeing his best friend's kid brother anymore, like he was seeing a man. That night, we grilled in the backyard, drank cheap beer, and talked long after Ryan went to bed. I was halfway through a story about my job when I caught him looking at me. Not with polite interest, but with intent. "I always thought you had a smart mouth," Noah said, nursing the neck of his bottle. "Now I know it." I blinked. "That a compliment?" He tilted his head. "You tell me." Silence stretched between us. Tension tightened it. And then I stood. "I should probably crash." "Which room are you in?" "Mine," I said. "Far end of the hall." He nodded. "Right. I'm just in the guest room." Just the guest room. Just for the weekend. Just until Sunday. I turned to leave, but when I hit the hallway, I stopped. Because he was behind me. Not touching. Not talking. Just watching. I opened my door, and that was when it happened. He followed. Closed the door behind him. Stepped into my space like it was the most natural thing in the world, and kissed me. No hesitation. No question. Just heat and years of unspoken tension unraveling in a single magnetic pull. I kissed him back. And when we finally pulled apart, his breath fanned over my lips. "This is a bad idea," I whispered. He leaned in, forehead against mine. "Yeah," he said. "But so is pretending I haven't wanted you since the day you turned 18. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? I just stood there, leaning against a closed door, my heart beating like it had somewhere to be, fast, loud, and out of rhythm. Noah had kissed me. Noah. And it wasn't just some heat-of-the-moment thing. It had weight. It said everything his mouth didn't. I replayed it over and over again in my mind, the way his hand slid up the back of my neck, the softness of his lips, the growl low in his throat when I tugged at his shirt, like I didn't care that he was my brother's best friend. Because in that moment, I didn't. I pressed my forehead to the door and listened. Nothing. The hall was silent. I waited 10 more seconds, then cracked the door open, peering out like some teenager with a crush. The guest room door was closed. No light under it. No sound. Had I imagined all of it? I shut my door again and leaned against it, feeling ridiculous. But then light footsteps. My heart jumped as I crossed my bed, pretending I wasn't holding my breath. The hallway floor creaked once. Then again. Then silence. He was outside my room again. But he didn't knock. He didn't come in. He just stood there. I imagined him just as restless as I was, maybe fighting the same impossible war inside. Want versus loyalty. Lust versus logic. My brother's face versus my body pressed against his. And when I finally collapsed into bed, I lay there with my eyes open until dawn broke. Morning was awkward. Of course it was. My brother was oblivious, pouring coffee like he wasn't between two people buzzing with forbidden electricity. Noah didn't say much, but he didn't have to. He kept stealing glances when Ryan wasn't looking. His fingers brushed mine when I passed the orange juice. His mouth curved when I flushed like a walking confession. Plans today? I asked casually, staring at the eggs like they could save me. Noah shrugged. Might hit the gym. Walk around town. Not much else. I nodded, chewing slower than necessary. Then he said, might use your shower if that's cool. The guest one's got, no water pressure. My fork stopped midair. Ryan didn't bat an eye. Yeah, man. Dylan's bathroom's basically the only good one in the house. Noah looked at me, held my gaze, smirked, and just like that, the rest of the morning became a countdown to the moment I heard the water running in my bathroom. Wait a minute. I stayed out of my room for a while, trying to be decent, trying not to lose it thinking about him in my shower. Wet, naked, clothes enough to touch if I had the nerve to walk in. But I didn't. I stayed at the door, forehead pressed to the wood again. Fists clenched like that might stop the ache building behind my ribs. When the door finally opened, steam rushed out first. Then him, towel around his waist, hair dripping, eyes on me like he knew exactly what I'd been thinking. Sorry, he said low, stepping past me. Didn't mean to take so long. His arm brushed mine. His scent followed. And when he closed the door to the guest room, I nearly slid down the wall and melted on the floor. It's wild how something so small, a glance, a touch, can throw your whole world out of alignment. All day I felt it, the gravity between us. Ryan took Noah out to run errands, grab lunch, pick up suits for the wedding. I stayed behind, claiming I had work to catch up on. That was a lie. I couldn't concentrate on anything but the way Noah had looked at me when he walked out of my shower, like he'd seen too much, like he wanted more. When they got back, it was late afternoon. Ryan tossed a plastic bag at me with a laugh. Your tux. Try it on. I took it to my room and shut the door. But I hadn't even pulled the jacket from the hanger before someone knocked. I knew who it was. Even before I opened the door, I knew. Noah, in a dark button-up, sleeves rolled again, leaning against my doorframe like it was built for him. Need help with the tie? He asked. I hesitated, then stepped back. Sure. He walked in and closed the door behind him. There was something in the air between us. Quiet, but alive. Like we both knew this wasn't about the tie. Still, he stepped close, took the silk in his hands, and started knotting it with slow, careful fingers. Our eyes met, held. My breath caught. You didn't sleep either, he said low. No, I murmured. He finished the knot, his knuckles brushing my collarbone. Ryan could walk in, I said, but I didn't move away. I know. Neither of us moved. Seconds passed, full of everything we weren't allowed to say. Then his fingers slid down the tie, lingered at the center of my chest. Pressed. I felt the burn through the shirt. He's like a brother to me, Noah whispered. But so are you. I swallowed. That's the problem, isn't it? He nodded once. Yeah. But then he leaned in, so close I could feel the heat of his breath. And also the reason I can't stop thinking about last night. I didn't let myself think. I kissed him again. This one was slower, deeper, hungrier. His hands were at my hips, mine in his hair. And for a moment, the whole world dropped away. But then, a knock at the door. "Yo, Dylan?" Ryan's voice, muffled but far too close. "Dinner?" I jerked back. Noah's eyes were wide, his chest rising and falling hard. "Coming," I called, voice cracking. Noah stepped back, adjusted his shirt, and headed for the window, because the hallway door would creak. He opened a window, shot me one last look, and said, "Tonight! If I knock, you'll answer?" My pulse pounded in my throat. "Always." And then he was gone, just like that. I opened the door to find my brother with 2 beers and a grin. "Dude, you look flushed," Ryan said, tossing me one. "Too hot in here?" "Yeah," I muttered, accepting the beer. Way too hot. But it wasn't the room. It was him. And tonight, I knew I wouldn't be able to say no. The house was still. Even the crickets outside the window seemed to hold their breath. I stared at the clock. 11:56 p.m. I'd been lying in bed for hours, fully dressed. Not because I thought I'd chicken out. No, because I knew I wouldn't. Because if I even gave myself the luxury of soft cotton and safety, I might forget what was coming. I didn't want to forget. I wanted to remember every second of this night. Every second that led up to the knock. At exactly midnight, it came. 2 firm raps against my bedroom door. I stood like I'd been summoned. My heart didn't just pound, it roared. And yet, my hand was steady on the doorknob. Steady like I'd been waiting my whole life to open that door for him. I did. And there he was. Noah. Hair tousled, barefoot, gray t-shirt. Eyes dark with something I hadn't seen before. Something deeper than want. He looked me over. Said nothing. I stepped back. He entered. I closed the door. Neither of us spoke as he turned to face me. There was nothing to say. Words would ruin it. This wasn't about logic, or friendship, or boundaries we'd drawn in chalk years ago. This was about us. This was about the way he stepped close, fingertips brushing mine. Just barely. The way I felt that touch all the way down to my bones. He didn't kiss me. Not right away. He just stood there, close enough for heat to pass between us. His eyes searched mine, waiting for hesitation, for resistance. He found none. So when he leaned in, slow as sunrise, I didn't meet him halfway. I let him come to me. His lips touched mine and stayed. Not hungry, not rushed, just there, like he'd been aching for stillness in a world that never stopped spinning, and he'd finally found it. I breathed him in, tasted him, salt and heat, something a little like regret, a lot like surrender. His hands found my waist. Mine slid beneath his shirt. Palms pressed a warm skin. Chest to chest, we stood there, tangled in silence. Nothing moved but our mouths. It wasn't sex. It was want, held so tight it pulsed. He kissed my neck, just once, then pulled back. His eyes burned into mine. "Do you want this?" he asked. My reply was breathless. I don't think I've ever wanted anything more. And that was it. That's when he climbed into bed beside me. Not to take, not to dominate, not to finish. Just to be. His hand in mine. His legs tangled with mine. His forehead resting against mine like a promise. Nothing more. And yet it was everything. That night, I didn't sleep. Neither did he. We just felt. Every breath. Every shift. Every time his thumb brushed mine like a silent confession. Noah didn't need to undress me to undo me. He already had. Morning crept in softly through the blinds, painting the room with a gentle gray light. I lay in bed, half awake, my mind slowly untangling the vivid tapestry of last night. The memory of Noah's kiss was still fresh, a lingering taste on my lips, a warmth that defied the cool edge of dawn. I sat up slowly, careful not to disrupt the fragile equilibrium we had shared in the dark hours. Beside me, Noah stirred. His eyes fluttered open as if emerging from a long, reverent sleep. When he finally sat up, He turned to face me. For a long, quiet minute, neither of us spoke. Instead, we exchanged soft smiles that said more than words ever could. There was no shame in what happened. There was only a gentle, undeniable truth, a promise that what we had experienced was as real as the light spilling into the room. I traced a finger along the line of his jaw, feeling the slight stubble and the warmth of his skin, committing every detail to memory. It was as if waking up beside him made everything clear. The fleeting boundaries between right and wrong, the tangled threads of forbidden desire, and the unexpected clarity that sometimes comes with surrender. Last night, Noah began, his voice husky with sleep and quiet wonder. I nodded. I never thought I'd feel so seen, I admitted, so understood. He reached out, taking my hand in his, fingers intertwining with an ease that felt like coming home. I've always admired you, Dylan, he said softly, sincerity breaking through his usual confident veneer. Not just for being my brother's best friend, but for who you are. And last night, it was like I finally got to know you without all the pretense. The admission sent a ripple of warmth through me. We talked then, our words slow and deliberate, each phrase building a foundation for something new and uncharted. There were no hurried declarations or dramatic confessions, just a gentle unfolding of two souls discovering that beyond the forbidden thrill lay a deeper, more lasting connection. Noah stood and stretched, offering me a hand to help me to my feet. I'm not in any rush, he said, his eyes fixed on mine with a quiet intensity. Let's take our time. I don't want last night to be just a one-time thing, if you don't. I felt the weight of that promise settle in me like a soft, assuring blanket. This wasn't just about passion or a daring moment of rebellion. It was about something more. It was about exploring a part of ourselves that we both kept hidden, even from each other, and finding comfort in that vulnerability. As I prepared for the day, dressing slowly and carefully, I couldn't help but glance over at Noah. In that shared glance, there was the understanding that we had crossed a boundary, yes, but we had also opened a door to possibilities neither of us had expected. Later, as I stepped out for a walk, I carried with me the quiet joy of knowing that in the early light of a new day, I had found something worth holding on to, something beyond the thrill of a forbidden kiss, a delicate intimacy that promised more than just a fleeting escape. The weekend moved in slow, deliberate steps, like it knew we needed time to adjust, to breathe, to pretend things hadn't changed when really everything had. My brother, Jason, had no idea what he'd left in motion when he invited Noah to crash with us. To him, it was just a visit, some beers, late-night movies, old stories. But to me, every moment was a balancing act between normalcy and the humming energy that now sparked between Noah and me whenever we were near. We hadn't talked about what we were now, not in those words, but I could feel in the way he looked at me when no one else was watching, like I was something he hadn't expected to want so badly. That afternoon, Jason was out picking up food. Noah and I were alone again, sitting side by side on the living room couch. The TV played something forgettable in the background, but I couldn't tell you what it was. My pulse was too busy racing every time his knee brushed mine. He didn't move away. Neither did I. His fingers eventually slid down to the cushion between us, stopping just short of mine. And then, slowly, as if checking whether I'd flinch, he touched me. Barely. Just a graze. But it lit me up. Does this feel dangerous to you? I asked, voice soft, a little breathless. He turned to face me, eyes dark with something unreadable. Only because I want more, he said. The words hung between us, crackling with tension. I looked away. Jason would kill us. Probably, he said with a smile. But he doesn't have to know. He moved closer. Close enough that I could smell the faded cologne on his hoodie. Close enough that my skin ached to close the inch of space that still separated us. But he didn't kiss me. Not this time. He leaned in, lips brushing my cheek instead, slow, drawn out, maddening. A whisper of a touch that sent shivers down my spine. You drive me crazy, Dylan, he murmured, his mouth near my ear. I've never wanted someone this much and had to pretend like I didn't. I turned my face toward him, eyes meeting his, then don't pretend. His smile faded into something deeper, serious, quiet, reverent. His hand slipped into mine. Just like that. No fireworks. No music swell. Just heat. Connection. A shared secret burning silently in the space between our palms. The front door opened a moment later. We broke apart just in time. Jason walked in holding a bag of takeout, rambling about how he nearly got hit by a cyclist. Noah laughed along, easy and natural. I did too, but my heart wasn't in it, because under the table, in the dark shelter of that secret space, our feet found each other and stayed. Jason decided we'd all go out for drinks that night. I didn't want to, not with the heat still smoldering under my skin from earlier, but saying no would have raised questions neither of us were ready to answer. We ended up at a bar down the street, the kind with neon signs and sticky floors. Jason flirted with the waitress. Noah stuck by my side like gravity. The music was too loud for conversation, so we just looked. His eyes said everything his mouth couldn't. That he remembered the way my breath hitched when he touched my cheek. That he was aching to do it again. That the night felt like a cage. We stood near the restroom hallway when Jason disappeared into the crowd. Noah leaned closer. "One kiss," he said. "Just one. Please." My throat tightened. This isn't the place. He reached up, brushed a thumb against the side of my neck. Then tell me not to. I didn't. I couldn't. So he didn't kiss my lips. Instead, he pressed his forehead to mine like a prayer, like restraint, like waiting was somehow harder and sweeter than giving in. And then Jason called out from the bar, and the moment slipped away again. It was our last night under the same roof. Jason had no clue what he was joking about when he said, "Try not to keep each other up all night." I laughed. Barely. My chest was a minefield. Later, when the house was quiet, I heard the tap. Not on the door. On the wall between our rooms. Soft. Intentional. I tapped back. A minute passed. Then I heard it. His bedroom door creaking open. I opened mine too. We met in the hallway, dim and still. His eyes searched mine like he needed confirmation this wasn't a dream. We didn't speak. Not a word as I pulled him into my room, shut the door and backed against it. He kissed me. Finally. Slow, reverent, aching. It was everything and not enough. His hands gripped my shirt like he'd been waiting years to touch me like this. My fingers fumbled through his curls, greedy and unsure all at once. We didn't go all the way. But everything we did, the lingering touches, the urgent mouths, the way he whispered my name like it meant something sacred, it was more intimate than sex could ever be. When he finally pulled away, his voice cracked. "I'm not going to disappear after this, Dylan." And I believed him. Morning came too soon. Jason made breakfast. Noah sat beside me at the table, casual, like he hadn't whispered that he wanted to fall asleep next to me again, like he hadn't pressed his lips to the small of my back and said he couldn't get close enough, but I could still feel it. All of it, the kiss behind my ear, the way his breath caught when I touched him under his shirt, the promise in the way he held my hand after. When he left later that day, I walked him to his car. Jason was still inside, finishing up a call. We had a sliver of privacy. "I'll be back," Noah said. "Not just for him. For you." I nodded, heart thudding. He leaned in, brushed a soft, slow kiss against my lips. No urgency this time. Just stepped, like a full stop at the end of a beautiful sentence. He pulled back, and for the first time, he smiled without holding anything back. "You make me feel like home." And just like that, forbidden or not, I knew I wasn't alone in what I felt. I watched him drive away, the echo of that kiss still warm on my skin, and I whispered to myself, "He's worth every risk."